The little girl Miyori had just become friends with a small bear. Then they were suddenly attacked by a vicious dog. Seeing the girl burst into tears in fear, the little bear instantly grew huge, with a height of 5 meters and a terrifying roar. It scared the dog so badly that it turned pale. The giant bear wanted to keep attacking, but was suddenly stopped by the cherry blossom vines nearby. Then the giant bear changed back into its original form. The next second, countless spirits suddenly appeared in the big tree. They meant no harm, and kept trying to cheer Miyori up. Only when Miyori's parents came looking for her, did they finally leave with peace of mind. This strange experience gradually faded from Miyori's memory as she grew up. But when Miyori grew older, she wasn't happy. Her mother always complained that her father didn't make enough money, so they argued all the time. In the end, they chose to divorce. Her classmates often bullied her, always calling her a kid without a mom. These misfortunes slowly made Miyori withdrawn. She didn't like to talk, and even started to become depressed. With no other choice, her father transferred her to a school in the countryside, where she would live with her grandparents. But the very first thing Miyori did when she arrived was to get rid of her phone, because her phone held memories of her unhappy childhood. She tossed the phone straight into the river, but to her surprise, by evening, her phone was brought back by a spirit. In a daze, she caught sight of a mysterious figure. To find out the truth, Miyori took her grandmother's dog and went back to that bridge, but all she found were a few strange footprints. The dog followed the scent all the way, deep into the forest. There, Miyori discovered a large tree that had long since withered. That's when a cat spirit suddenly appeared. Miyori was startled. The cat spirit said he had known Miyori 10 years ago, before Miyori could recover from the shock. A tiger appeared right behind her, but the tiger instantly turned into a monkey-like spirit. This spirit was none other than the little bear Miyori had met 10 years ago. His name was Palico. He had the power to transform into any animal. When the cat spirit realized Miyori had long forgotten them, he summoned an anteater spirit. Its nose, once pressed to someone's head, could plunge that person into a dream, and just like that, the memories from 10 years ago resurfaced in Miyori's mind. It turned out that when Miyori was little, she had been chosen by the mother of the forest to become the guardian of this woodland. That was why the spirits had befriended her. But as those memories came flooding back, her unhappy childhood also returned to her thoughts. Miyori didn't want to remember those painful times. Angry, she stormed off. This left the spirits feeling a bit disappointed. The next day, Miyori seemed restless. Seeing this, her grandmother led her to the second floor. There were many strange items there, like this hand drum. Beating it with a fixed rhythm can summon the spirits of the forest. Grandma explained that all these things were gifts from the spirits, because she herself had once been the forest's guardian, but now that she was old, she could no longer protect the forest. So, 10 years ago, she had asked the mother of the forest to pass that responsibility on to Miyori. Only then did Miyori realize that the spirits hadn't meant to make her relive her unhappy childhood. She couldn't help feeling a little guilty toward them, but still, she really didn't want to be any kind of guardian. Nor did she like life in this countryside. The next morning on her way to school, Miyori ran into Palico again. He wanted to play with her, just like when they were kids, but the withdrawn Miyori didn't want to be his friend. When she arrived at school, the new classmates were all very warm and friendly. They knew she had come from the big city, and worried she might not get used to life here. So they even held a welcome ceremony just for her. But everyone was also curious about what the big city was like. They kept chasing after her, asking all sorts of questions about city life. This made the already introverted Miyori feel rather impatient. Just then, a boy named Yusuke threw a volleyball, which hit Miyori squarely. That made her hate life in the countryside even more. Miyori ran off in anger, but she ran in the wrong direction. Later, Miyori arrived at a lakeside. The scenery here was beautiful. Birdsong filled the air, and flowers bloomed everywhere. The lake water was crystal clear, but at that moment, a female ghost suddenly appeared beside her. The ghost told her that if Miyori ever felt uneasy, she could take a sip of this lake's water. This water had a calming effect. Miyori took a sip, and sure enough, her mood improved a lot. But the ghost added, unfortunately, this lake would soon vanish, because humans plan to build a dam nearby. Then the ghost suddenly grabbed Miyori's hand. A flash of white light appeared, and Miyori was instantly pulled into an illusion. Inside the vision, she saw the forest submerged by river water, villages and farmland drowned, and countless innocent animals losing their lives. The shocking scene filled Miyori's heart with pain. The ghost murmured, "Why do humans always destroy the beauty of nature?" Then she stood up to say goodbye to Miyori, warning her not to bring any men here, and disappeared. On her way back, the cat spirit stopped Miyori. He told her that the ghost she just met had once been human. After being betrayed by her lover, she couldn't handle the heartbreak, so she ended her life in this very lake. Since then, she'd become a ghost, wandering around the water's edge. She deeply hated men. It was said that if a man drank from this lake, he would see her terrifying form, and might even die because of it. By dusk, Miyori returned home. Looking at the beautiful countryside, she suddenly remembered the vision of it all being submerged. A heavy feeling grew inside her. At that moment, her heart began to waver. If she truly became the guardian of this forest, could she save everything? The next day at school, Miyori was still thinking about what happened yesterday, but Yusuke hit her with a volleyball again. That made her angry, so she threw it back at him. It turned out Yusuke acted that way because he felt Miyori look down on the countryside. Miyori grew furious and shouted that this lousy village would be underwater soon anyway. Her words immediately drew everyone's attention, but no one believed her. Seeing their disbelief, Miyori smugly told Yusuke to go to the forest lake. The ghost there could prove her words true. The moment Yusuke heard this, he headed straight for the forest, but when class started, he still hadn't returned. The students grew worried. Miyori suddenly remembered what Paliko had said. That female ghost hated men deeply. She began to regret saying those things, so she decided to check the lake herself. When she arrived, she found the ghost attacking Yusuke. Miyori rushed forward to stop her. She told the ghost that not all men were bad. Ending her own life was cowardice, and she had no right to harm an innocent person. The ghost flew into a rage, deliberately bringing up Miyori's unhappy childhood. She said Miyori had been abandoned by her mother. Nobody liked her, and nobody loved her. She even claimed that Miyori would one day end her own miserable life by jumping into the lake too. But Miyori stood firm and told her that even if no one liked her, she had the courage to face life ahead. She would never choose the weakness of ending her own life. In an instant, Miyori's body radiated countless beams of white light, shattering the ghost completely. As she vanished, the ghost thanked Miyori, for she was finally free. The spirits greatly admired Miyori's courage. But after this event, Miyori no longer wanted to stand by and do nothing. She wanted to protect this mountain forest and stop humans from destroying it. Miyori successfully rescued Yusuke and cleared up the misunderstanding between them. Not long after, while exploring the forest, Miyori discovered workers preparing for dam construction. They even carried hunting rifles, as if surveying the forest in advance. Soon, more and more people entered the mountains. The plan to build the dam was about to be carried out to serve their own interests. They planned to cut down every tree here. Miyori understood that once the dam was built, this entire forest would vanish. She decided she had to act, so she gathered many friends to discuss a plan. At that moment, Yusuke, who had grown up here, pulled out a picture book. He explained that this bird, the golden eagle, once lived in these mountains, but because of human overdevelopment, it was now endangered, classified as a first-level protected species. If they could find a golden eagle here again, proving it still lived in the mountains, the government could designate the village as a wildlife preserve. If that happened, humans would not be allowed to build a dam in the reserve. The kids all agreed at once. They printed a large number of flyers, hoping villagers would help them look for golden eagles. Whenever they had free time, they went deep into the mountains searching, but every trip ended in disappointment. Miyori wanted the spirits to join the search, so she took out her grandmother's hand drum and gave it 2 tentative beats. Sure enough, a spirit appeared. Guided by the spirit, Miyori walked into the forest with the drum. Before long, all the spirits of the mountains were summoned. She explained her plan to them, but golden eagles were so rare that even the cat spirit hadn't seen one in years. Still, they didn't give up. The next day, Miyori's mother, the one who abandoned her years ago, suddenly came to visit. These years, she had been full of guilt and wanted to take Miyori back to the city to live together. But this time, Miyori refused. She had grown to love life in the countryside and didn't want to leave. After her mother left, Miyori kept searching for the golden eagle. Soon, they ran into those damn surveyors again. To stop them, Yusuke lied and said they'd found a golden eagle, but to his shock, Those men told Yusuke to take them to the eagle's nest. They claimed that if they really saw a golden eagle, they'd immediately report back and halt construction, with no choice. Yusuke led them to the mountain peak, saying it was the eagle's habitat, but the moment they arrived, they actually saw a golden eagle. Yusuke never expected his lie to become true, but before he could react, the golden eagle suddenly called out Miyori's name. It turned out the eagle was Paliko in disguise. They thought that once these men saw the eagle, they'd leave and inform their superiors to stop construction, but to their horror, the men's faces turned greedy. They raised their rifles. With a single gunshot, Paliko was hit. Miyori tried to stop them, but it was too late. That's when she realized she had been tricked. These people weren't surveyors at all. They were hunters hired by developers. Whenever they spotted endangered animals, they killed them to prevent anyone from blocking the dam project. Miyori was heartbroken. She ran deep into the forest, where she found Paliko, barely alive. Under a tree, he was badly wounded, and had even lost his power to transform. To save him, Miyori wanted to take him to a pet hospital in the city, but Paliko said he didn't want to leave this place. Just then, the withered cherry tree blossomed again. The spirits witnessed a miracle. The mother of the forest had returned. She healed Paliko's wounds, then turned to Miyori and said, "If you want to save this mountain forest, you must become one with it." Without hesitation, Miyori agreed. The mother of the forest transformed Miyori into water. In an instant, Miyori sank into the earth, feeling the nourishment within the soil. Then she welled up again as a mountain spring, flowed down as a river, merged into the sea, nurturing countless lives. She rose as vapor, soared to the heavens, turned into clouds, and fell again as rain, returning to the soil. Water nourishes all things. Water is the forest, and the forest is water. The mother of the forest fused Miyori with the entire woodland. At that moment, Miyori truly became the guardian of this land. And so, Miyori began her plan. They didn't want to hurt humans, but they had to stop the dam from being built. Using the hand drum, Miyori summoned spirits from every nearby mountain. She told them, "Make humans fear the forest, make them respect nature. We must scare them so much that they'll never set foot here again." The spirits agreed, each preparing to unleash their powers and take on terrifying forms. Before long, the hunters returned to the mountains, looking for rare animals to kill. But this time, the forest was eerily silent. Not even a bird's chirp. A chill crept up their spines. Then, with Miyori's command, the dragon spirit exhaled a thick white mist. The forest grew darker, stranger. More and more spirits appeared, morphing into monstrous shapes to surround the hunters. As they tried to flee, Miyori herself blocked their path. She warned them to leave at once. The hunters raised their guns, but Miyori swiftly disarmed them, confiscating every last rifle. The spirits seized the moment to terrify the intruders even more. Together, they drove the hunters out. One of them, the man who had shot Paliko, tried to escape, but Miyori and the anteater spirit intercepted him. The anteater spirit plunged him into a dream. In it, he saw the forest in ruins, and deadly mudslides caused by the dam. Terror overwhelmed him, and he staggered away in panic. Meanwhile, Yusuke called the police and reported their illegal hunting. All the hunters were soon arrested. As they were taken away, the spirits cheered. The forest was safe. After the incident, people really did spot a golden eagle in the mountains. The dam project was finally cancelled, but in truth, that golden eagle caught on camera was still Paliko in disguise. During this battle to save the forest, Miyori fell in love with this land, and along the way, her long-frozen heart began to thaw. When sunlight pierced through the treetops and lit up her uplifted face, she finally understood. The misfortunes she once resented were just seeds of growth. To protect something is never a burden. It's a journey to find where your heart belongs, and every soul who dares to shine in the dark will one day become a sun to light both themselves and the world.